Kick it.
Ahoy, mateys, and welcome to This Week in Nickelodeon History. I'm your captain, Captain Eric, and it's a pleasure to welcome you aboard as we celebrate some Nickelodeon anniversaries that take place in between the time of September 4th to September 10th. And it's that time of year, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get your rear ends back to school. Get them up out of bed. Get out there to that building that may teach you a thing here or two. It's up to you, and it's all about the perspective on what you'll take away from that experience. And that's all I have to say about that.
Today, Junior!
And this week, we're going to start all the way back 34 years ago on September 10th, 1988. We had the premiere of Kids Court. Created by Alan Goodman, Albie Heitch, and Fred Seibert, this show ran for one season of 26 episodes.
Dismissed! Bring in the dancing lobsters!
No, it wasn't that kind of court. But the show claimed to use the actual issues that kids were sending in from around the world. They were mailed all the way to the studio, whatever they were going through, and these issues would then have children making arguments on each side of the issue with an overall judge-o-meter represented by a cardboard judge, which is either a low-budget decision made by the studio or a very creative representation of our legal system. But you know what? I think Kids Court should come back. I've mentioned this anytime this series has been brought up, but it unfortunately was off of the air before I was even watching Nickelodeon, so I didn't even have the opportunity to see a program like this. But I feel like there's still some validity in hearing what kids have to say about what's going on in the world. And I'm not saying that Kids Court has to tackle serious subjects, but why not? We're always hearing the opinions on every knucklehead on the street. So why not hear the opinions from kids on what's going on in the world? I will tell you from experience working with kids that they will say some of the most profound things you'll ever hear a human being say. And depending on when you catch them at their development, sometimes they have no filter. So I am all in favor of a return to Kids Court in some way, as long as the Dancing Lobsters can get some work in Hollywood. I'm tired of seeing these guys struggle out there.
Help me.
27 years ago, on September 5th, 1995, we had the premiere of Global Guts, the final season of Nickelodeon Guts, which was filmed from July 12th, 1995 to August 15th, 1995, and featured a wide variety of competitors from around the world, from the United States of America to Mexico, Great Britain, Israel, Germany, Spain, Portugal, and the Commonwealth of Independent States, referred to simply as CIS on air, consisting of Georgia, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Ukraine. Mike O'Malley was on board as the host for the U.S. broadcast, and out of all of the countries, the one country to take home the most gold medals, as Global Guts was more of an Olympic-style event compared to other Guts seasons, the United Kingdom took home 8 gold medals, followed by Mexico with 7 and the United States with 6.
Do you have it? Do you have it?
17 years ago, on September 6, 2005, Go Diego Go premiered on Nickelodeon, technically a part of the Nick Jr. lineup in the morning. The show was created by Chris Gifford and Valerie Walsh Valdez and ran for 5 seasons of 80 episodes. Go Diego Go, for those who don't know, and I didn't mean that to be a rhyme, but Go Diego Go is a spin-off of Dora the Explorer, featuring Dora's cousin Diego, featuring a similar style of adventure. But in Go Diego Go, all of the adventures have to do with saving animals and learning about them. The show ran for 5 seasons of 80 episodes. 15 years ago, on September 8th, 2007, we had the premiere of iCarly on Nickelodeon, created by Dan Schneider! You monster. The show ran for 6 seasons of 97 episodes. Before things took an even creepier turn with Victorious, iCarly here was an absolutely solid show from beginning to end. It had a clear evolution throughout its run. It added fantastic reoccurring characters that were always a pleasure to see. And it's been running a pretty decent revival all the way over on Paramount Plus, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend, especially if you're a fan of iCarly. I am a fan of iCarly. It was really my last Nickelodeon show that I fell in love with from beginning to end as I had Nickelodeon available to me. As Victorious was on, I didn't get to really enjoy that show in full by the time I lost access to Nickelodeon and then caught up with the show on a later platform, but then found just too many levels of creepiness in Victorious to prefer it to iCarly. So between the two shows, iCarly is just the superior show. It just works on all levels, and the side characters in that show are some of my favorites in any live-action Nickelodeon show, and that's why for today's top 5, I'm going to be going over my favorite iCarly reoccurring characters, so stay tuned for that. But if you are a fan of iCarly, do you have any favorite episodes, favorite characters, favorite moments? Let me know in the comments below. 6 years ago, on September 9th, 2016, we had the premiere of Jagger Eaton's Mega Life. Starring Jagger Eaton, the show ran for 1 season of 20 episodes. If you're wondering who Jagger Eaton is, he is a professional skateboarder who, at the time of his docuseries, was the youngest X Games competitor ever until this record was broken in 2019. In 2021, he won his first Olympic skateboarding medal, earning bronze in the men's street competition in Tokyo, Japan. Congratulations, Jagger. It sounds like you may have finished up your docuseries on Nickelodeon, but you are still having a mega life out there. 5 years ago, on September 4th, 2017, we had the premiere of I Am Frankie. Based on the telenovela created by Marcela Soterio called Yo Soy Frankie, it was adapted over to American audiences as a drama series. It ran for 2 seasons of 40 episodes. Also 5 years ago, on September 9th, 2017, we had the final episode of Wally Kazam on Nick Jr. The show was created by Adam Peltzman and ran for 2 seasons of 52 episodes. 1 year ago, on September 10th, 2021, we had the premiere of The Smurfs on Nickelodeon. The entire Smurfs series was created by Peyo, and this current animated adaptation is still ongoing and currently has 2 seasons of 60 episodes. And this week, on September 5th, 2022, we have the premiere of Big Nate on Nickelodeon. Now, Big Nate premiered on Paramount Plus all the way back on February 17th, 2022. So this is Big Nate's big premiere on Nickelodeon proper. So if you unfortunately don't have access to Paramount Plus, you can now enjoy Nate's shenanigans on your television screen on cable. Big Nate was created by Lincoln Pierce and developed by Mitch Watson. It is now time for Captain Eric's Top 5 of the Week. And my Top 5 of the Week is about iCarly reoccurring characters. Number 5, I'm going to start out with Principal Ted Tuvok. Oh, wait, hold on. What's his actual name? No, it's definitely Tuvok. Oh, that's a character he played on Star Trek Voyager. My bad. Principal Ted Franklin, who is portrayed by actor Tim Russ, who I am a big fan of from his work on Star Trek Voyager. So instantly, once I seen him as the principal of iCarly, I became a fan of his. So anytime he's popped up, he has my full attention. That's legitimately my excuse for as to why this character is number 5. And I think that excuse justifies. Number 4 is Tebow. Tebow is the owner of the Groovy Smoothie, which as the series goes on becomes more of a hangout spot for our characters. And Tebow was so eccentric and just engaging, and you kind of understood why these characters would want to hang out there and be around this guy. He just exuded personality, and I was always on board with any of his weird ways of displaying food or handing it out to customers. I don't know, I'm into just thinking outside of the box, and Tebow is a guy who consistently thinks outside of the box. Number 3 is Freddy's mom, Mrs. Benson, the overbearing mother archetype, except for Mrs. Benson is such an overbearing mom that even the most overbearing mom would be like, whoa, pump the brakes, Mrs. Benson. Hold up here. What are you doing? And it's that kind of dichotomy that she has with her son that is one of the funniest things about the show. I would say out of all of these characters that she has the most consistency in terms of her comedic value on the show. And I know I just said that. She's here at number 3, but I think you'll understand with my other 2. Number 2, as far as my favorite iCarly reoccurring character, is Neville Papperman, the perfect antagonist for this series. Now, you may think at first, well, the perfect antagonists for a show about an internet show would be a rival internet show. And honestly, that would make sense. But if you've been on the internet long enough, the real enemy of an internet show can be a trolling critic. And Neville Papperman is one of the worst, blackmailing the fate of iCarly in a kiss with Carly herself, and of course never really achieving his wildest dreams, but going to really immature, pathetic, and surprising levels to get what he wants. Absolutely great antagonist, and really his placement on this list goes more towards his actor, Reed Alexander, who just knocks it out of the park as this character. I can't even begin to explain how well this performance is. And wherever Reed is right now, I hope he's doing well. As is our number 1 character on this list, my favorite side character. Some may argue with this inclusion, and I understand that by the end, he rose to the status of a main character on the show. But my love for him came as a reoccurring side character, and I honestly see a lot of myself in him, and I'm talking about Gibby. Played by Noah Munich, Gibby is one of my favorite side characters in any Nickelodeon show, and it really comes down to that connection I felt I had with that character. Being someone who sees other people doing other things and wanting to be a part of that, wanting to just be a part of it as much as possible, and that's what Gibby was doing for the most part on his reoccurring appearances, wanting to be a part of the iCarly cast. And by the end, Gibby had made it. Gibby had made it to a point that he didn't even need to take his shirt off to be an important player, to be an important cast member, a part of iCarly. I hope his actor Noah is doing fine out there. I absolutely loved his performance as this character, and I know that his feelings on the character have been very rocky over the last few years, but I would like you to know that I really found a lot of positive attributes to find with Gibby, and it certainly helped me out discover who I was in some ways throughout high school and beyond. So I can't thank you enough, and I also can't thank you enough for listening to this podcast. You can reach Captain Eric at NickelodeonHistory@gmail.com, or you can also follow me on Twitter at I'm Ready Podcast and on Instagram at SpongeBob Podcast. Please check out my other podcast, I'm Ready, a SpongePod Squarecast, dropping every Thursday on every conceivable podcasting platform. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the Captain Eric YouTube channel, where you can also hit that bell so you can be notified anytime the Captain puts something out. You can also purchase new and updated merch at the Redbubble link either in my podcast description or in the link from any of my socials. Anything that comes in through my projects goes directly back into my projects, and it's always appreciated. As always, everybody, please stay safe, be kind to one another, and come aboard again to another episode of This Week in Nickelodeon History.
On the Lord Hut, here a hut, Nick. On the Lord Hut, here a hut, Nick, Nick. On the Ricky Ticky Low, while living number 1 Nickelodeon.